the Garden of Giggles. In the quaint town of Evergreen, where the air always carried the comforting scent of freshly baked bread and blooming flowers, lived a young woman named Lily. Evergreen was not just any ordinary town. It was a place where happiness seemed to sprout as naturally and abundantly as wildflowers in spring. Every corner of the town held a story, and every story was filled with joy, wonder, and the kind of magic that only reveals itself to those who believe. Lily, with her bright blue eyes that sparkled like sapphires catching the morning light, and an infectious laugh that could brighten even the gloomiest of days, worked at the local bookstore aptly named Pages of Joy. The bookstore was a magical place in its own right, with towering shelves that reached the ceiling, each one filled to the brim with books that held the power to transport anyone to faraway lands and epic adventures. But the true magic of Pages of Joy wasn't found within the pages of its books. It resided in the people who frequented it, in the connections made, and in the stories shared. One particularly serene morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky with breathtaking hues of pink and orange, Lily made her way to the bookstore. The cool morning air caressed her face, carrying with it the promise of a new day filled with possibilities. As she approached the familiar storefront, its windows gleaming in the early morning light, Lily felt a sense of anticipation building within her, as if the universe was whispering that today would be different from any other. The bell above the door chimed merrily as Lily entered, its sweet melody seeming to welcome not just her, but everyone who would cross the threshold that day. As she busied herself with her morning routine, straightening books, dusting shelves, and arranging a new display of children's books near the front window, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary was about to happen. It was just as she was placing the final book on the display, a colorful tome about a mischievous dragon who loved to read, that the door swung open. The bell's chime seemed more vibrant than usual, as if heralding the arrival of someone special. And indeed, in walked a man with a twinkle in his eye and a bounce in his step that spoke of adventures had and stories yet to be told. His name was Max, a traveling storyteller known far and wide for his ability to turn even the most mundane events into thrilling tales that captivated audiences of all ages. Max had a way of connecting with people, of making each person feel as if they were the most important character in his grand narrative of life. His silver hair caught the light streaming through the windows, creating a halo effect that only added to his aura of mystery and wonder. "Good morning, Lily." Max greeted her with a wide smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "The world feels particularly magical today, doesn't it? I have a new story to share, and I think you're going to love it." Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, her heart quickening with anticipation. "Tell me more, Max. Your stories always brighten my day." Max's eyes twinkled mischievously as he leaned in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Have you ever heard of a place called the Garden of Giggles?" Lily shook her head, her curiosity piqued. "No, I haven't. What's that?" Max began to weave a tale so vivid that Lily could almost see it unfolding before her eyes. He spoke of a hidden garden, a magical place where laughter grew on trees like the sweetest fruit, where happiness floated in the air like dandelion seeds on a summer breeze. It was said that whoever found this garden would be blessed with endless joy and laughter, their hearts forever lightened by the magic of the place. As Max's story unfolded, painting pictures of whimsical landscapes and fantastical creatures, Lily found herself completely entranced. The bookstore around them seemed to fade away, replaced by the vibrant imagery of Max's tale. She could almost feel the soft grass beneath her feet, hear the tinkling laughter that supposedly filled the air of this magical garden. "Oh, Max," Lily breathed when he finally finished his tale, her eyes wide with wonder. "It sounds absolutely marvelous. If only such a place really existed." Max's eyes twinkled with a secret knowledge. "But what if it did, Lily? What if the Garden of Giggles wasn't just a story, but a real place waiting to be discovered?" Lily's heart skipped a beat at the implication. "Do you mean?" Max nodded, his smile growing wider. "I have reason to believe that the Garden of Giggles is real, and that it's hidden somewhere in the forests surrounding Evergreen. What do you say, Lily? Shall we embark on an adventure to find it? Without hesitation, Lily nodded eagerly. Yes. Oh yes. Let's do it. The prospect of such an adventure filled her with a childlike excitement she hadn't felt in years. And so, with a hastily scribbled note on the bookstore door explaining their absence, Lily and Max set off on their grand adventure. They packed a small bag with essentials, some water, a few sandwiches, and, of course, a blank journal to record their journey. Max produced an old, weathered map from his coat pocket, its edges frayed and its surface covered in cryptic symbols and riddles. As they left the familiar confines of Evergreen behind, venturing into the lush forests that surrounded the town, Lily felt a sense of freedom and excitement wash over her. The trees seemed to whisper secrets as they passed, their leaves rustling in a breeze that carried the promise of magic and adventure. Their journey took them through sun-dappled meadows where wildflowers nodded their colorful heads in greeting, and along babbling brooks whose crystal-clear waters seemed to sing songs of far-off lands. With each step, the world around them seemed to grow more vibrant, more alive, as if they were drawing closer to the source of all joy and laughter. As they ventured deeper into the woods, following clues from Max's map and solving riddles that seemed to appear magically along their path, Lily and Max encountered a cast of whimsical characters that seemed to have stepped right out of a fairy tale. First, they met Sammy, a red squirrel with a bushy tail and a penchant for singing. Perched on a low-hanging branch, Sammy greeted them with a chirpy melody that spoke of hidden treasures and secret paths through the forest. His song, filled with clues and riddles, guided them to their next destination, a wise old owl named Oliver. Oliver resided in the hollow of an ancient oak tree, his large, luminous eyes filled with the wisdom of centuries. He spoke in rhymes and riddles, challenging Lily and Max to think creatively and see the world from new perspectives. With each puzzle they solved, Oliver's eyes would twinkle with approval, and he would share another piece of the puzzle that would lead them closer to the Garden of Giggles. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, painting the forest in warm hues of gold and amber, Lily and Max encountered Felix, a mischievous fox with a gleaming red coat and a sly grin. Felix loved nothing more than a good trick, and he led them on a merry chase through the forest, always staying just out of reach. But with each prank and jest, Felix inadvertently revealed more clues about the location of the Garden of Giggles, his playful nature a reminder of the joy they sought. With the guidance of their new animal friends and the clues they had gathered along the way, Lily and Max finally found themselves standing at the edge of a hidden grove. The air here felt different, charged with an energy that made their skin tingle and their hearts race with anticipation. And there, in the heart of the grove, stood the entrance to the Garden of Giggles. It was more beautiful than they had ever imagined. A delicate archway woven from flowering vines marked the entrance, the blooms emitting a soft, pulsing light that seemed to beckon them forward. As they stepped through the archway, Lily and Max felt a wave of pure, unadulterated joy wash over them. The Garden of Giggles was a wonderland of color and light. Trees with leaves in every shade of the rainbow swayed gently, their branches heavy with fruit that looked like bubbles of laughter. The grass beneath their feet was soft and springy, each step eliciting a quiet giggle that rose up from the earth itself. Flowers of impossible shapes and colors danced in a breeze that carried the sound of distant laughter, their petals shimmering with an inner light. In the center of the garden stood a magnificent fountain, its waters sparkling with what looked like liquid starlight. As they approached, Lily and Max could hear the tinkling laughter of the water as it danced and played, inviting them to join in its mirth. They spent hours exploring the Garden of Giggles, discovering new wonders around every corner. There were bushes that whispered jokes as you passed, their leaves quivering with suppressed laughter. Butterflies with wings that looked like smiling faces fluttered from flower to flower, leaving trails of glittering joy in their wake. Even the clouds overhead seemed to be in on the fun, forming shapes that told silly stories as they drifted by. As they wandered through this magical place, Lily and Max felt the weight of the world lifting from their shoulders. Every worry, Every care seemed to melt away, replaced by a lightness of being that they had never experienced before. They laughed until their sides ached, played like children without a care in the world, and felt their spirits soar higher than they ever thought possible. But it wasn't just mindless frivolity they found in the Garden of Giggles. As the initial rush of euphoria settled into a warm, steady glow of contentment, Lily and Max discovered that the garden had more to offer than just laughter. They found quiet corners where the joy took on a deeper, more reflective quality. Here, they shared stories from their lives, remembering moments of happiness they had almost forgotten and finding new appreciation for the simple pleasures they had often overlooked. They realized that the true magic of the Garden of Giggles wasn't in the fantastical sights and sounds, but in the way it opened their hearts to the joy that had been within them all along. It was a place that reminded them of the power of laughter, of connection, and of seeing the world through eyes unclouded by cynicism or doubt. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the garden that made everything shimmer with an otherworldly light, Lily and Max knew it was time to return to Evergreen. They made their way back to the arched entrance, their hearts lighter and their souls happier than they had ever been. But leaving the Garden of Giggles didn't mean leaving its magic behind. As they stepped back into the forest, Lily and Max felt changed. The world around them seemed brighter, more vivid, as if they were seeing it clearly for the first time. The journey back to Evergreen was filled with laughter and joy, every step a celebration of the wonder they had experienced. When they finally reached the outskirts of town, the first stars twinkling in the twilight sky above them, Lily and Max paused to look back at the forest. Though they could no longer see the Garden of Giggles, they could feel its presence, a warm glow in their hearts that they knew would never fade. "You know, Lily," Max said softly, his eyes twinkling with the wisdom of their journey, "I think we've discovered the true magic of the Garden of Giggles." Lily nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. "It's not just a place, is it? It's a way of seeing the world." "Exactly," Max agreed. "The garden showed us that joy and laughter are always within reach, if we just open our hearts to the beauty and wonder around us. It's in the smile of a friend, in the pages of a beloved book, in the simple pleasure of a warm summer day." From that day forward, Lily and Max shared their story with everyone in Evergreen. They spoke of their magical journey, of the wonders they had seen, and of the profound truth they had discovered. And though not everyone believed in the literal existence of the Garden of Giggles, the story sparked something in the hearts of all who heard it. The town of Evergreen, already a place of happiness, became even more vibrant. People began to look at the world around them with new eyes, finding joy in the simplest of things. Laughter rang out more frequently, smiles were shared more freely, and a sense of wonder and possibility seemed to permeate the very air. Lily's bookstore, Pages of Joy, became a gathering place for those seeking their own paths to happiness. She and Max would often hold storytelling sessions, sharing tales of wonder and teaching others how to find the magic in their everyday lives. The books on the shelves seemed to come alive with new meaning, each one a potential doorway to a world of joy and adventure. And on quiet evenings, when the store was closed and the town was settling down for the night, Lily would sometimes stand at the window, looking out towards the forest. She would remember the Garden of Giggles, its beauty and its lessons, and feel a warm glow of happiness spread through her chest. In those moments, she knew that the true gift of their adventure wasn't the magical garden itself, but the knowledge that such wonder and joy existed in the world. It was the understanding that happiness wasn't something to be sought in some far-off place, but something to be cultivated in one's own heart and shared with others. As she turned away from the window, ready to begin another day of spreading joy through stories, Lily would smile to herself, for she knew that while the Garden of Giggles might be hidden from sight, its spirit lived on in every act of kindness, every shared laugh, and every moment of wonder at the beauty of the world. And so, the legacy of the Garden of Giggles lived on, not as a distant magical place, but as a state of mind and heart that transformed the lives of all who embraced it. In Evergreen and beyond, people learned to nurture their own gardens of joy, filling their lives and the lives of those around them with the kind of laughter and happiness that could only come from seeing the world through eyes filled with wonder and hearts open to the magic of everyday life. As you drift off to sleep, dear reader, may you carry with you the spirit of the Garden of Giggles. May your dreams be filled with laughter and joy, and may you awaken to a world that sparkles with the possibility of magic and wonder in every moment. Remember, the key to unlocking your own Garden of Giggles lies within you, waiting to blossom and fill your life with the kind of happiness that knows no bounds. Sweet dreams, and may your tomorrow be filled with the giggles and joy of a life lived with an open heart and a spirit of endless wonder. Years passed in Evergreen, and the story of the Garden of Giggles became a beloved legend. Lily and Max, now older but still young at heart, continued to run pages of joy together. The bookstore had become more than just a place to buy books. It was a sanctuary of imagination and joy for the entire town. Children who had grown up hearing the tale of the Garden of Giggles were now adults themselves, passing the story on to their own children. The forest that surrounded Evergreen became a place of mystery and wonder, with many setting out on their own quests to find the magical garden. Though no one else ever found the physical Garden of Giggles, something more important had taken root in Evergreen. The spirit of the garden, its laughter, its joy, its ability to help people see the world with wonder, had spread throughout the town and beyond. Lily and Max would often sit in the quiet of the bookstore after closing, surrounded by the stories they loved, and reflect on their incredible journey. They realized that their greatest adventure hadn't been finding the Garden of Giggles, but in sharing its magic with others and watching it grow in the hearts of everyone around them. And so, as the stars twinkled over Evergreen each night, the town slept peacefully, its dreams filled with laughter and the promise of joy in every new day. The Garden of Giggles lived on, not as a place, but as a reminder to all that magic and wonder are always just a smile away.